realised I can just video my way to work. I hope that's not too jibbity. Got the wrong, I'm going to change Chuck's mounting unit thing. I've got two of them. This one's a bit wobbly. I can't seem to get it just, anyway. So I'm heading south on Main North Road, and you may be able to see in the distance there's a building, a tall building. That's one of the new apartment blocks in the city, but that's the CBD. Well, we call it the Central Business District. You guys call it downtown. So it's downtown Adelaide, although no one will refer to it as that. So it is about 9:30 in the morning. I'm a little bit later than I expected. I ended up chatting to Bessie for a bit. There's the Toyota dealership on the right where I got the Prius. And there's another, there's Mitsubishi. There's a whole bunch. I said to you before, this is where a lot of the car yards are. And sort of heading further out to town, you'll get out of town, you'll get even more. There's Hyundai. And there was one on the right here. I think that used to be Subaru, but it's all closed up now. Let me have a look. It's, oh no, Chrysler and Dodge. Oh, so there you go. Some names you're familiar with. It's a beautiful day. It started out quite low cloud. You can still see it sort of fuzzy, hazy over the city. So petrol's just gone up. Let's talk about everything. Petrol's just gone up. It's about $1.64 a litre for premium unleaded, which is a lot. Last time I filled up it was $1.21. Here's, what's this one? Main North Road. That's Nissan. Okay, so that'll have the Leaf in there. So that, in fact, I think I just saw one back there. I'll go in and have a look at them, maybe on the weekends. Oh, and there's, oh no, there's second-hand cars, second-hand Prestige cars there. This is a landmark here, this Scotty's Hotel, or motel it's now. Big Scotsman up the top, that's a bit of a landmark. People use that as a guide. You know, they say it's Scotty's Corner is referred to as. Woken up properly. And there's VW, Volkswagen. And this kind of changes names depending on whereabouts you are on it. The one thing about Australian name roads is they get halfway down and then they just change their name. So you got to get to know. I don't know if you can see any of these really beautiful houses along here. Anyway, you'll see. There's a nice one there. Maybe you can see that. This was like the outskirts, the original suburb of, one of the original suburbs of Adelaide. So there's some really beautiful old buildings. And there's horses just in there to the right, which I'm going to go in and get some photos for Hannah and some video. I just haven't done it yet, but they're just back there. And they just live in the parklands. There's a bunch of, there's the police horses are also in the parklands over on the other side of the city. So as I said to you before, the parks go all the way around Adelaide. So downtown Adelaide is completely surrounded by parklands, and there's sporting grounds and entertainment stuff, and there's no cafes or anything like that. It's just simply parklands. lots of gardens, like rose gardens, and there's the Japanese garden. Like on our right here is an olive grove. That's the Italian community have serviced that for, well, since the dawn of time. And so there's the police horses live in the parklands. There's an area on the west side of the city. So we're currently on the east side now. So, and this is now turned into, now I don't know if this is still Robe Terrace or Fullerton Road, but this turns into Fullerton Road and it heads directly, now we're heading south along the east side of the city. This used to be, on the left here, used to all be Channel 7, the main, one of the main TV stations in Adelaide, and they've just bulldozed it all, redesigned it in the middle of town, and now that's all apartment blocks. And they're like 2-story, 3-story apartments, and they're side-by-side apartments. So each one's got 3 stories, but they're joined at each wall. So that's something that's very popular here. Although 3-story apartments are not as common as they are in North America, that's for sure. It's common to have a 2-story apartment, and this over here, all in there is the Botanic Gardens. You can't really see it, there's a big pine forest there in the way. And there's the Adelaide Zoo in there. And I'm nearly at work. On the left here is all the big St. Peter's College and PAC. Prince Alfred College, which is the top boys' school in Adelaide or South Australia. There's some of the city. Oh no, that's the what that building is there. This structure here on the right is the new bus tunnel that goes down in underneath, sort of gets out of the city before it gets up and starts delivering or picking up people, just so it can get out of all the peak hour traffic, which here is nothing like what you guys are dealing with. So yeah, and my work is just up here around the corner, but as I said, oh, there's that apartment block, Keith, up there on the left. That's that one I was telling you about, that we were talking about yesterday on the way to, when we were driving on the way to work. So you can see there's the penthouse at the top. That's a really common thing. And some of the buildings, they don't put the penthouse at the top, they put a gym up the top. But Australia doesn't have, I mean, Adelaide doesn't actually have a lot of those. Queensland has a lot. Sydney has a lot. Melbourne has a lot. Perth has now got a lot. Adelaide does not. Adelaide's a very low-lying city, so that's the tall buildings are not very tall at all. Whereas there's no height limits in the other cities, and in fact, in the Gold Coast, I can't remember whether you've been to the Gold Coast, I don't think you have, but in the Gold Coast it's like all tall high-rise buildings. They're really, really tall. Like when we stayed at Otis's, you'll remember, we were on floor 55, but there was more than that in there. There were another couple of floors. This is that building, so you can, I'm not going to get through up there. What's he doing? Is he gonna, can I get around him? I don't think I can. I need to go up there, mate. Am I going to be able to? Are you moving? I want to get through there. Are you able to? Yeah, thank you. No? No. You're kidding me. He's just going to ignore me. That's a bit cheeky. Anyway, I'll go around that way. Oh. So we get to see, you're going to see the parklands because they're straight ahead. play for the Norwood Bears, which is the Norwood Volleyball Club. I don't know this road at all, so I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, so very cute little area, quite upper class. Lots of specialists are in this area, like surgeons and lawyers and accountants. Lots of cute little, what do you call it now? Hang on a sec. Lots of cute little coffee shops and things. This is the other end of it. These are apartments. This is a classic sign. See, I mean a classic design. They're everywhere. In fact, there's the apartment block. You can see them building in the city now. That's new. Oh, that's called the Crown Plaza. Oh, wow. Okay. So we'll have to go for a walk in town at some point. This is just a laneway. This is the laneway I was telling you that you came down with me in. I'm going to pass my magpies. Oh, someone's got my car park. I'll go on the other side today. Spots over. There's my bird. You can see my bird. All right. That's it. I'll talk to you soon.